Introduction: The myth of the natural salesman. Close your eyes and picture a salesperson. A specific and likely negative image probably comes to mind. It's the fast-talking, backslapping extrovert. The pushy, aggressive used car salesman. The charismatic wolf of Wall Street, who can sell anything to anyone. You see this image, and you think to yourself, that's not me. I could never do that. You've been sold a powerful myth. The myth of the natural salesman. It's the belief that the ability to sell is an innate personality trait, a magical gift of charisma that you're either born with or you are not. You believe that to be successful in sales, you have to be a born extrovert, a master of manipulation, and someone who is comfortable with constant rejection. This myth is the single biggest wall that prevents smart, empathetic, and strategic thinkers from entering what is arguably the most lucrative, empowering, and valuable profession in the entire business world. And it is completely false. High-level professional selling is not about a personality type. It is a system. It is not an art. It is an engineering process. A great salesperson is not a pushy talker. They're a master listener, a strategic problem solver, and a trusted consultant. Welcome to From Zero to Closer. This is not a book of aggressive closing tactics or manipulative psychological tricks. This is a practical, step-by-step roadmap for becoming a high-earning, highly respected sales professional, even if you are an introvert who hates the very idea of selling. We will treat your new career not as a personality contest, but as an architectural project. First, we will demolish the myth of the natural salesman and install the powerful doctor's mindset, reframing your role from a pushy salesperson to a trusted diagnostician. We will deconstruct the psychology of buying and give you the core blueprints for a predictable sales process. Next, we will give you the tactical playbooks for the core skills of the profession, prospecting for high-value clients and mastering the art of the consultative sales call. Finally, we will show you the systems and habits that separate the average salesperson from the unstoppable six-figure closing machine. It's time to stop letting a false stereotype hold you back. Your empathy, your listening skills, and your ability to think systematically are not weaknesses in the world of sales. They are your superpowers. The system is learnable. The path begins now. Part 1. The Foundation, the Architecture of Persuasion. Case File 01. The Architect's Mindset. You are not a salesperson. You are a doctor. Before you learn your first closing technique, we must perform the most profound identity shift of your new career. The number one reason that most people fail at and hate sales is that they are operating under the wrong identity. They're trying to be a salesperson. A salesperson, in the traditional negative sense, is someone whose primary goal is to push a product. Their focus is on their own quota, their own commission, their own needs. The conversation is a battle of wills, a zero-sum game where they try to convince a reluctant prospect to buy something. This is a high-pressure, low-trust dynamic. You're not here to be a salesperson. You are here to be a doctor. This is a non-negotiable and game-changing distinction. Think about the last time you went to a good doctor. Did they immediately try to sell you a prescription? Of course not. A good doctor is a master diagnostician. Their primary goal is not to push a product. It is to deeply and accurately understand the patient's pain. They listen. They ask intelligent, probing questions. They are a calm, trusted, and authoritative expert. Only after they have a complete and accurate diagnosis do they confidently prescribe the best possible solution. This is the architect's mindset for modern sales. It is a shift from pitching to diagnosing. It is a shift from persuading to prescribing. The salesperson starts by talking about their product. The doctor starts by asking about the prospect's business and their biggest challenges. The salesperson's primary skill is talking. The doctor's primary skill is listening. The salesperson asks, "How can I convince this person to buy?" The doctor asks, "Does this person have a problem that I am uniquely qualified to solve?" When you adopt the doctor's mindset, the entire dynamic of the sales process inverts. The pressure disappears. You are no longer a needy vendor trying to make a sale. You are a high-value consultant, an expert diagnostician who is there to help. Your prospects will not see you as a salesperson to be avoided, but as a trusted advisor to be sought out. You're not here to sell. You are here to serve, to solve, and to prescribe. Case File 02. The Buyer's Brain, the Unbreakable Law of Emotion versus Logic. To be a master diagnostician, you must have a deep architectural understanding of the patient you are treating, the human brain. The amateur salesperson makes a fundamental error. They assume that their prospect is a rational being who makes purchasing decisions based on a logical analysis of facts, features, and return on investment. The architect of persuasion knows this is a complete fantasy. The human brain is not a logic processor. It is an emotional storytelling machine that is still running on the primitive, survival-based software of our ancestors. The single most important principle in all of sales is this. People make decisions with the emotional part of their brain and then use the logical part to justify that decision. Your job as a doctor is not to sell to the logical brain. Your job is to connect with the emotional brain. The facts, features, and ROI calculations are the logical justifications you will provide after you have made an emotional connection. In a world of business-to-business sales, all problems can be boiled down to two simple, powerful, and primal emotional drivers. Driver 1, the move toward gain. This is the desire for more. The primal emotions are greed, ambition, and the desire for status and victory. In business, this translates to the desire for more revenue, more efficiency, and more competitive advantage. You must paint a vivid picture of this desirable future state. Driver 2, the move away from pain. This is the fear of loss. The primal emotions are fear and anxiety. The fear of loss is a significantly more powerful motivator than the desire for gain. In business, this translates to the fear of losing money, losing time, or falling behind the competition. You must first diagnose and empathize with their current pain. Then, position your product as the fastest, safest painkiller for that ailment. This leads to the most important strategic question. Are you a vitamin or a painkiller? A vitamin is a nice-to-have that helps a business move toward gain. A painkiller is a must-have that solves a current, bleeding, and urgent pain. It is always, without exception, easier to sell a painkiller than a vitamin. Case File 03. The Sales Funnel Blueprint. Deconstructing the journey from stranger to signed contract. A sale is not a single event. It is a process. It is a structured, multi-step journey that you will guide your prospect on, from a state of initial awareness to a final signed contract. The amateur salesperson improvises this journey. They wing it on every call, and their results are inconsistent and unpredictable. The architect of persuasion knows that a predictable output requires a predictable input. They use a sales funnel, also called a sales pipeline, as their architectural blueprint. A sales funnel is a series of defined, logical stages that a prospect moves through. By creating a clear sales funnel, you're not just organizing your work. You are creating a powerful diagnostic tool. This is the 4-stage sales funnel blueprint. A professional solo operator can run their entire business on this simple model. Stage 1, prospecting. This is the top of funnel. The goal is to identify a list of high-quality, potential clients who fit your ideal client profile. The status of the lead is cold. The core activities are building your target list, sending cold emails, and networking. A prospect moves out of this stage when they have agreed to a meeting. Stage 2, qualifying. This is the discovery call. The goal is to determine if this prospect is a good fit. This is the doctor's diagnosis phase. The status of the lead is warm. The core activity is the discovery call, where you listen and ask diagnostic questions. A prospect moves out of this stage when you have mutually agreed that you should prepare a formal proposal. Stage 3, proposing. This is the solution. The goal is to present your formal, written proposal and price. The status of the lead is hot. The core activities are writing the proposal, presenting your pricing options, and handling objections. A prospect moves out of this stage when they have verbally agreed to move forward. Stage 4, closing. This is the contract. The goal is to get the signed contract and the initial payment. The status of the lead is closed one. The core activities are sending the final contract and the first invoice. This four-stage funnel, prospecting, qualifying, proposing, closing, is your new operating system. Case File 04. The Closer's Toolbox. Mastering your CRM and essential sales tech. You're a doctor. You have your diagnostic process, the sales funnel. But a modern doctor does not manage their entire patient roster using a messy stack of paper folders. They use a professional, digital system to track every patient, diagnosis, and next step. For a professional closer, your CRM or customer relationship management software is your record for your prospects. It is the central digital command center for your entire sales operation. The amateur salesperson tries to manage their leads in a spreadsheet, in their email inbox, or in their own head. This is a guaranteed path to failure. The architect knows that their own memory is a fragile tool. They build a simple, powerful, and semi-automated tech stack to manage their pipeline. This is the minimalist closer's tech stack. 1. Your pipeline manager, a simple CRM. The tool is HubSpot CRM or Pipedrive. HubSpot has a powerful, best-in-class free plan. Your CRM is the visual representation of your sales funnel. It is a board with columns for each of your 4 stages. Each prospect is a card that you move from left to right. For each card, you will always have a next action defined. 2. Your email weapon, an email tracking tool. The tool is HubSpot Sales Hub or Mailtrack.io. Both are free. These are browser extensions that supercharge your email. They give you a salesperson's superpower. They tell you when a prospect has opened your email. This is critical data. 3. Your scheduling assistant, a booking tool. The tool is Calendly. The free plan is excellent. This tool eliminates the painful email tennis of trying to schedule a meeting. You will set your availability and send a personal booking link to a prospect. 4. Your research assistant, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. This is the one paid tool in your stack. It is a premium version of LinkedIn that is an absolute necessity for a professional prospector. It gives you a much more powerful search engine to find your ideal clients. The cost of 1 month will be paid for by a tiny fraction of the commission from the first deal you close using it. This simple, 4-part tech stack is your command center. It will make you more organized, more efficient, and infinitely more professional. Part 2. The Prospecting Protocol, Building the Pipeline. Case File 05. The Ideal Client Profile. The Art of Hunting Whales, not minnows. Your sales pipeline is a machine. The quality of what comes out of that machine is 100% dependent on the quality of what you put into it. The most critical, foundational, and strategic work you will ever do as a closer is prospecting. Prospecting is the act of identifying the specific individuals and companies you will target. The amateur salesperson makes a fatal error. They believe that everyone is a potential customer. They create a massive, unfiltered list of 1,000 random companies. They are hunting minnows. They are spending a huge amount of effort to catch a tiny amount of fish. They are busy, but they are not profitable. The architect is a whale hunter. They know that a tiny handful of high-value, perfect-fit clients will generate 80% of their income. They spend the vast majority of their time on the meticulous, research-driven work of identifying these whales. This is the Ideal Client Profile, or ICP, blueprint. You will not contact a single prospect until you have first created a detailed, one-page blueprint of your ideal client. There are 4 components of an ICP. 1. The firmographics. These are the objective, factual characteristics of the companies you're targeting. This includes their industry, company size, geography, and the technology they use. 2. The pain points. What is the specific, urgent, and expensive business pain that your product is the painkiller for? You must be able to state this clearly. My ideal client is struggling with a low conversion rate on their sales demos, which is costing them at least $200,000 a year. 3. The trigger events. What is a recent event that would make this company particularly receptive to your solution right now? Examples include a new executive hire, a new funding announcement, or a competitor's move. You will use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Google News alerts to find companies experiencing these triggers. 4. The buyer persona. Within your ideal company, who is the one specific person with the authority and the pain to make a buying decision? You must identify their job title. You are not selling to a company. You are selling to a human. By building this detailed ICP, you are transforming your prospecting from a vague art into a precise science. Case File 06. The cold email that gets opened. A system for bypassing the gatekeeper. You have your ideal client profile. You have a curated whale hunting list of 20 perfect fit companies. Now, you must make first contact. Your primary weapon for this initial outreach is the cold email. The amateur salesperson's cold email is a predictable disaster. It's long, self-focused, filled with generic buzzwords, and has a weak call to action. It screams, "I am a salesperson, and I want to waste your time." This email is deleted, unread, in under 3 seconds. The architect of Persuasion knows that a great cold email is not a sales pitch. It is a pattern interrupt. It must be short, sharp, personal, and intriguing. Its one and only goal is not to sell the product, but to sell the next step, a brief, 15-minute conversation. This is the short, sharp, and personalized blueprint. It is a 4-part architectural blueprint for a cold email that gets a response. Part 1. The subject line. Its only job is to be opened. It must be short, personal, and create a small amount of curiosity. A good formula is quick question about their company name. It should be no more than 5 or 6 words. Part 2. The opening sentence. This is the personalization hook. You must immediately prove that this is not a generic template. This requires 60 seconds of research. Your first sentence must be a genuine, specific compliment or observation about them or their company. For example, "Hi prospect's name. I saw your recent post on LinkedIn about the challenges of remote sales training. It was a brilliant take." Part 3. The value proposition. This is the pain and solution bridge. In 1 or 2 sentences, you will connect your observation to the problem you solve. You are presenting your painkiller. For example, companies in your growth stage often find that their existing sales onboarding process can't keep up. I specialize in helping B2B SaaS companies solve that exact problem. Part 4. The low-friction call to action. The goal is to make saying yes to a conversation as easy as possible. You're not asking for an hour-long demo. You're asking for a brief, exploratory chat. The script is, "Would you be open to a brief, 15-minute call next week to explore if this might be a fit for your team?" This is the cold email that bypasses the gatekeeper, earns the respect of the decision maker, and gets the meeting. Case File 07. The LinkedIn Launchpad. How to turn connections into conversations. Cold email is a powerful tool for direct outreach. LinkedIn is your primary platform for building your professional brand, conducting research, and warming up your prospects before you ever send the first email. In modern B2B sales, a well-architected LinkedIn presence is not optional. It is a mission-critical component of your prospecting machine. The amateur salesperson uses LinkedIn as a digital resume. Their profile is a static, boring list of their past jobs. They use it to blast out generic sales pitches. They are a digital billboard, and they are instantly ignored. The architect uses LinkedIn as a listening and publishing platform. They're not a billboard. They're a radio station. This is the give before you get LinkedIn blueprint. Step 1. The client-facing profile optimization. Transform your profile from a resume into a sales page. It should be about the problems you solve. Your headline should not be sales executive. It should be helping B2B SaaS companies cut sales, ramp time in half. Your About section should be a mini sales letter that describes the primary pain point of your ideal client profile. Step 2. The content engine. You will not use LinkedIn to sell. You will use it to teach. Your goal is to become a trusted, authoritative voice in your niche. You will post 2 to 3 times per week. Your content will be a mix of curated content, where you share a relevant article with your own commentary and original content, where you write short posts that provide a single, valuable tip or a contrarian insight. Step 3. The engagement protocol. The goal is to identify prospects who are actively signaling that they have a problem. You will use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to build a list of target prospects. You will follow them, but not immediately connect. You are listening for buying signals. Do they post a question or a complaint? Then, you will engage with a genuinely helpful, non-promotional comment. Step 4. The transition to conversation. Only after you have provided value in the comments will you send the connection request. Once they accept, you will send one final, low-pressure message. Thanks for connecting. If you're ever open to a 15-minute brainstorm on their pain point, just let me know. Case File 08. The referral engine. How to get your best clients to be your best salespeople. You have prospected. You have pitched. You have closed your first few clients. The leads you have generated through your own outbound efforts are the foundational fuel for your business. But the single most powerful, most profitable, and most overlooked source of new business is already sitting right in front of you: your existing happy clients. A referral, a warm introduction from a happy client to a new, perfect fit prospect, is the holy grail of sales. A referred lead closes at a dramatically higher rate, has a higher lifetime value, and requires almost zero prospecting effort. It is the highest leverage activity in your entire sales arsenal. The amateur salesperson treats referrals as a matter of luck. They do great work and hope that their clients will spontaneously refer new business. This is a passive hope and wait strategy. The architect does not hope for referrals. They engineer a referral system. This is the moment of maximum impact referral blueprint. The key to a successful referral system is timing. Step 1. Identify the moment of maximum impact. This is the specific point in your client relationship where they have just received a huge, tangible, and emotionally resonant piece of value from your work. It is the moment they are happiest with you. This could be the day you present a report showing you doubled their lead flow, or the moment a major project is successfully completed. Step 2. The direct ask script. At this precise moment, you will make a simple, confident, and direct request. You will not be shy. You'll say, "I am so thrilled that you're happy with the results. My business grows primarily through word of mouth. Do you know one or two other VPs of sales in your network who might also be struggling with the specific pain we solved?" You're not asking a vague question. You're asking a specific, targeted question. Step 3. The Make It Easy protocol. Once they have identified a referral, you must make the act of introducing you as frictionless as possible. You'll say, "Would you be open to making a brief email introduction? To make it super easy, I can write a short blurb that you can just copy and paste." Step 4. The Close the Loop mandate. You must always follow up with your original client to thank them and let them know the outcome. This shows your professionalism and encourages them to refer you again. Part 3. The Sales Call Protocol. Mastering the conversation. Case File 09. The Discovery Call Blueprint. The art of the diagnosis. The discovery call is the single most important conversation in your entire sales process. It is the foundation upon which the entire deal is built. This is your first, real-time, one-on-one interaction with a qualified prospect. The outcome of this 30-minute call will determine whether you are perceived as just another commodity salesperson or as a high-value, expert consultant. The amateur salesperson, driven by nerves, makes a fatal error on this call. They talk. They spend the entire call pitching, presenting, and demonstrating their product. The architect of Persuasion knows that the goal of the discovery call is not to talk. It is to listen. This is the doctor's diagnosis in action. Your one and only objective is to deeply understand the prospect's disease, their business goals, challenges, and the specific, quantifiable pain. This is the Pain Funnel Discovery Call Blueprint. Part 1. The Frame and the Agenda. This is the first 3 minutes. The goal is to establish your authority and take control. You will set the agenda. Part 2. The Current State Questions. This is the broad scan. The goal is to understand the basic landscape of their business. Ask, "Could you walk me through your current process? And what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing?" Part 3. The Drill Down Questions. This is the pain funnel. The goal is to drill down into the pain. You will take one of the challenges they mentioned and ask consequence questions to quantify it. For example, when you say too long, how many months does that take? And what's the financial impact of that 6-month ramp time? Part 4. The future state questions. This is the dream. The goal is to get them to articulate their desired after state using the magic wand question. Part 5. The prescription and the close. The goal is to summarize their pain and present your solution as the perfect bridge to their desired future. You'll end by saying, "This is the exact problem I specialize in solving. Would you be open to me putting together a formal proposal?" By following this disciplined, diagnostic framework, you have not pitched anything. You have listened, understood, and earned the right to be seen as the trusted expert. Case File 10. The Value Proposition Pitch. How to sell the outcome, not the product. You have successfully completed the discovery call. You have a deep architectural understanding of your prospects before state, their pain, and their desired after state, their dream. Now, it is time to present your solution. This is the proposal or pitch phase. The amateur salesperson makes a classic, fatal error. They send a proposal that is all about them. It's a long document that lists their company's history and a detailed breakdown of all the features of their product. This is a what we do pitch. The architect of persuasion knows that the prospect does not care about you or your product's features. They care about themselves and their problems. Your proposal must not be about what you do. It must be about what your prospect gets. You must sell the outcome, not the process. This is the future state value proposition blueprint. Your proposal will be architected around a simple narrative. You are not the hero of this story. The prospect is the hero. Your product is merely the magic sword that will help them slay their dragon. Step 1. The I heard you opening. You will begin your proposal by immediately proving that you are listening. You must restate the prospect's pain and their desired outcome, using their own words. This makes the prospect feel deeply understood and creates positive psychological momentum. Step 2. The bridge. You will position your product as the specific, tailor-made bridge between their current pain and their desired future. You'll say, "Great, I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm confident that we can help you bridge that gap. The solution I've designed for you is my sales onboarding system." Step 3. The value pillars. This is the heart of your pitch. You will not list your features. You will present the 3 primary outcomes or value pillars that your system will deliver. For each pillar, you will first state the outcome and then briefly mention the features that deliver it. For example, the first outcome we're going to deliver is a dramatic reduction in your new hire ramp time. We'll do this using our library of on-demand video modules. Step 4. The social proof. You will prove that you have successfully delivered these outcomes for others by presenting a short, powerful, and relevant case study or testimonial. By architecting your pitch around this outcome-first blueprint, you are transforming the conversation. You are a strategic partner, presenting a clear, compelling investment case. Case File 11. The Objection Matrix, a playbook for turning no into yes. You have delivered a masterful, value-based pitch. The prospect is excited, and then they say the words that make the amateur salesperson's blood run cold. "This looks great, but..." What follows is an objection. The amateur salesperson hears an objection as a hard no. They get defensive, they get flustered, or they immediately offer a discount. They see the objection as a roadblock. The architect of persuasion knows a profound truth. An objection is not a rejection. An objection is a request for more information. It is a signal of engagement. An objection is a buying signal. Your job is not to fight the objection. Your job is to have a calm, confident, and systematic process for understanding the real question behind the objection and providing a reassuring answer. This is the acknowledge, isolate, reframe blueprint. You will anticipate the 3 to 4 most common objections and have a pre-scripted response for each one. The most common objection is, "It's too expensive." Step 1. Acknowledge and validate. Your first move is to agree with them. This is a disarming move. You'll say, "You know what, you're right. It is a significant investment." Step 2. Isolate the real issue. You must determine if the price is the real issue. Ask the aside from price question. Putting the price aside for just a moment, do you believe that the system I've outlined will actually solve your problem? If they say yes, you know they believe in the value. Step 3. Reframe the value. This is the cost of an action play. You will reframe the price not as a cost, but as an investment and compare it to the much higher cost of an action. You'll say, I understand the budget concern. In our discovery call, you mentioned that the 6-month ramp time is costing you a significant amount in lost revenue. The real question isn't whether this is a cost, but whether the cost of not fixing this problem is one you're willing to continue paying. By having a calm, systematic process for handling objections, you're transforming a moment of confrontation into a collaborative problem-solving session. Case File 12. The Art of the Close. Simple, low-pressure techniques to get the signature. You are in the final moments of a sales process. You have conducted a masterful discovery call. You have presented a compelling proposal. You have skillfully handled all objections. The prospect is nodding. The deal is on the 1-yard line. This is the moment where the amateur salesperson, crippled by a fear of being pushy, makes a final, fatal error. They fail to ask for the business. They end the conversation with a weak, passive statement like, well, let me know what you think. They leave the ball in the prospect's court, abandoning control. The architect of persuasion knows that closing is not an act of pressure or manipulation. It is a natural, logical, and helpful final step. You have successfully diagnosed the prospect's pain and have prescribed the perfect solution. The close is simply the act of helping them take the first dose of the medicine. It is a confident and professional act of leadership. This is the low-pressure closing blueprint. Technique 1. The assumptive close. Use this when all the buying signals have been positive. You will assume the sale is made and confidently talk about the next steps. The script is, this has been a great conversation. It sounds like we have a perfect fit. My standard process from here is simple. I'll send over a short agreement that outlines everything we've discussed. Are you ready for me to send that agreement over? Technique 2. The alternative close. Use this when you have presented your 3-tiered pricing options. This removes the yes or no question and replaces it with a which one question. The script is, so, based on our conversation, it sounds like both the standard and premium packages could be a great fit. Which of those 2 options feels like the better starting point for your team right now? Technique 3. The next step close. Use this when a prospect needs to get approval from their boss. Your goal is not to close the sale, but to close the next step. You will say, I completely understand. Can we go ahead and schedule a brief 15-minute follow-up call for next Tuesday at 10 a.m.? The golden rule of closing is to be silent. After you have asked your closing question, you must be silent. You must not speak. Confidently and calmly wait for the answer. The first person who speaks loses. Part 4. The career engine, from first deal to 6 figures. Case File 13. The pipeline mandate. The daily habits of a 6-figure earner. You've done it. You have closed your first deal. For the next 2 weeks, you dedicate 100% of your energy to serving this new client. Then, at the end of the month, a cold wave of panic washes over you. You have been so focused on serving your one client that you have done 0 prospecting. Your pipeline is completely empty. You have just entered the dreaded feast or famine cycle that plagues 99% of sales professionals. The amateur salesperson lives in this chaotic cycle. They sell, then they service, then they panic and sell again. Their income is a stressful, unpredictable roller coaster. The architect of a 6-figure career knows that their most important job is not closing deals. It is building the pipeline. They understand that a consistent income is the direct result of a consistent habit of prospecting. This is the 90-minute daily prospecting blueprint. This is the simple, unbreakable, and non-negotiable daily habit of every top-performing sales professional. The mandate is that you will block out the first 90 minutes of every single workday in your calendar. This block will be labeled prospecting. This is your sacred hour and a half. During this 90-minute block, you're not allowed to check your email work on existing client projects, or check social media. Your one and only focus is top-of-funnel activity. This is the 30-30-30 architectural breakdown. You will divide your 90-minute block into 3 focused 30-minute sprints. Sprint 1, the research sprint. The first 30 minutes. The goal is to identify 5 to 10 new, high-quality prospects that fit your ideal client profile. Sprint 2, the outreach sprint. The second 30 minutes. The goal is to perform personalized outreach to the prospects you just identified. This is where you will record your video voicemail, pitches, or craft personalized cold emails. Sprint 3, the follow-up sprint. The final 30 minutes. The goal is to follow up with the prospects who are already in your pipeline by reviewing your CRM. This disciplined, 90-minute daily ritual is the secret to escaping the feast or famine cycle. It is the engine that keeps your sales pipeline full and your income predictable. Case File 14, the negotiation table, a system for protecting your price and maximizing your value. You have presented your proposal and your 3-tiered pricing. The prospect is highly interested, but they make one final move. They say, "This looks great, but your price is a little higher than we were expecting. Can you do any better on that?" This is the negotiation. For the amateur salesperson, this is a moment of panic. Fearful of losing the deal, their immediate instinct is to cave. They offer a discount, or they agree to add more work for the same price. They have just devalued their service and destroyed their profit margin. The architect of persuasion sees the negotiation not as a conflict, but as the final, collaborative step in defining the scope and value of the partnership. This is the never discount, only trade blueprint. This is the single most important and unbreakable law of professional negotiation. You will never, ever offer a discount on your price without getting something of equal or greater value in return. A discount is a unilateral concession. A trade is a professional negotiation. Let's use the price objection protocol. The prospect says, "Your $2,500 package is a bit more than we budgeted. Can you do it for $2,000? Step 1 is to empathize and re-anchor to the value. You'll say, "I completely understand. Just to reconfirm, do you believe this solution is the right one to solve your problem?" Step 2 is the trade offer. You will offer to meet their price, but by removing a piece of the scope. "Okay, great. I can definitely work with you to get the project down to a $2,000 investment. To do that, the best way would be to start with just a long-form sales page for now. We can pause on the 5-part email sequence and add that as a phase 2 project. 9 times out of 10, the prospect who is just trying to get a discount will suddenly realize they want the full value and will find the extra money. If they ask for more scope for a lower price, you will use the enthusiastic yes reframe. You will reframe their request as their smart, strategic decision to upgrade to your more comprehensive and valuable package. By adhering to this unbreakable law, you are sending a powerful signal that you are a serious professional and a partner to be respected. Case File 15, the art of the follow-up. How to win deals with professional persistence. You had a fantastic discovery call. You sent a brilliant proposal. The prospect was enthusiastic. And then, silence. 2 weeks have passed, and you have heard nothing. This is the dreaded sales limbo, the place where promising deals go to die. The amateur salesperson, in this situation, makes one of 2 mistakes. The first is to give up, assuming silence is a no. The second mistake is to become a pest, sending annoying just checking in emails. The architect of persuasion knows a critical truth. Most sales are made in the follow-up. Your prospect is not a bad person. They are a busy person. Your job is to be a professional, persistent, and value-driven partner. This is the value-driven follow-up blueprint. You will have a simple, automated, and systematic follow-up sequence for every proposal you send. You will follow up once every 7 days. Follow-up number 1, 3 days after the proposal, is the simple bump. Reply to your original proposal email. "Hi, prospect name. Just wanted to quickly confirm that you received the proposal I sent over. Please let me know if you have any questions." Follow-up number 2, 10 days after the proposal, is the value add. You will not ask for an update. You will provide more value. You'll send an email that says, "Hi, prospect name. I was just reading this fascinating article about a relevant topic, and it made me think of our conversation. Thought you might find it interesting." Follow-up number 3, 17 days after the proposal, is the case study. You will gently remind them of the value you provide. You'll say, "Hi, prospect name. I just wrapped up a project with another client, and we were able to achieve an impressive result. It reminded me of the goals we discussed for your team." Follow-up number 4, 24 days after the proposal, is the breakup email. This is your final, polite attempt to get a response by closing the file. This leverages the principle of loss aversion. You'll say, "Hi, prospect name. I've sent a few emails and haven't heard back, so I'm going to assume that this is no longer a priority. I'm closing out your file on my end. If anything changes, please don't hesitate to reach out." This polite breakup email is often the single most effective email in the entire sequence. Case File 16, the closer's mindset, handling rejection and building unshakable resilience. It will happen. You will follow the entire playbook with architectural precision. You will conduct a masterful discovery call, deliver a brilliant proposal, and handle every objection with grace. And the prospect will still say no. For the amateur salesperson, this is a moment of catastrophic personal failure. The no feels like a direct, personal rejection. They take it personally. A single no can send them into a spiral of self-doubt that can paralyze their prospecting efforts for days. The architect, the professional closer, understands a fundamental, liberating truth. Rejection is not personal. A no is not an indictment of your character. It is simply a data point. It is a neutral, unemotional signal from the market that, in this specific instance, there was not a fit. To build a long, successful, and mentally sustainable career in sales, you must systematically decouple your ego from your outcomes. This is the resilience blueprint. 1. The process over outcome mandate. Your goal is not to close every deal. Your goal is to flawlessly execute your process on every deal. After any call, you will not ask yourself, "Did I get the sale?" You will ask yourself, "Did I follow my script? Did I ask good diagnostic questions?" You cannot control the outcome. The only thing you can control is the quality of your own performance. 2. The "it's a numbers game" principle. You must see sales not as a series of high-stakes dramas, but as a long-term game of statistics. A professional closer knows their conversion rates. They know that to get their 2 yes, they must get 8 no's along the way. The no is not a failure. It is a necessary part of the mathematical process of finding the yes. 3. The gracious loss protocol. When a prospect definitively tells you no, you must respond with absolute professionalism and grace. You'll say, "Thank you so much for the opportunity. I completely understand, and I respect your decision. I wish you all the best. And if anything changes, please don't hesitate to reach out." You must never, ever burn a bridge. A gracious loss is a deposit in your long-term reputation account. Conclusion: you are the revenue engine. You began this roadmap with a myth. The myth of the natural salesman, the charismatic, fast-talking extrovert who is simply born to sell. You saw a world of high-pressure tactics, manipulation, and constant rejection, and you believe that you are not built for it. That myth has now been completely re-engineered into a powerful, architectural reality. You now know that professional selling is not about a personality type. It is a system. It is not about a magical gift. It is a learnable, repeatable process. You are not a pushy salesperson. You are a doctor, a trusted consultant, an expert diagnostician. You have deconstructed the very psychology of the buyer's brain and have mastered the foundational blueprints of the sales funnel. You have filled your toolkit with the most valuable skills in the business world: the ability to find high-value clients, to conduct a masterful discovery call, to present a compelling proposal, to handle objections, and to close the deal with professional grace. Most importantly, you have moved beyond theory. You have a complete, end-to-end system for building a predictable, six-figure sales pipeline. You have the daily habits, the mental frameworks, and the unshakable resilience required to be a top performer. You do not just have knowledge, you have a complete business plan for a lucrative and empowering career. The path from here is one of execution. It is the work of making the calls, of listening with empathy, and of applying these systems to solve real problems for your clients. Your empathy, your listening skills, and your ability to think systematically are not weaknesses in the world of sales. They are your superpowers. You're no longer a passive participant in a business. You are the engine. You're the one who creates the fuel that allows the entire company to run. You are the architect of growth. You are the revenue engine. Now go close. Did this roadmap help you? Your journey is just beginning, but your feedback is crucial. If this book provided you with real-world value, the single best way to support this mission is to leave an honest review on Amazon. More by Gardinski. Your roadmap continues. You've mastered the art of closing the deal. Now, learn the skills required to negotiate better terms and manage the long-term client relationship. Book recommendations include From Zero to Words That Sell and From Zero to Profitable.